like how you say you're investing in real companies, so to speak. We're talking about machinery, robotics. Tell us what kinds of companies you're seeing.
Exactly. So, a good anecdote that explains this is in San Francisco, probably people who weld would only be artists, right? But we've got companies that are using robotics to weld in the Midwest.
And does that lead to good investments? Is there enough scale? I mean, when we're talking about how Facebook and Google can have billions of users, what do the economics look like for some of these companies?
Well, so, if you're serving customers and you're making robotics for or software for robotics for welding, you can get to scale because you can go after all those companies all over the country that are using your product.
Is there a lack of funding for these companies, generally speaking, or no?
Well, the hard part for the companies is there's not a problem getting money in the beginning, in the early stage, but later when they need larger amounts of money, they have to be connected to New York or San Francisco where the money is.
And so are you trying to change that piece of it, or do you think that's always going to be the case?
No, that's the heart of what we're really trying to do, which is to build a fund that gets that capital involved in the early stages in the Midwest, us serving as scouts, and then later those bigger funds taking over and putting big money into the companies.
What's the biggest home run you've had?
Well, we're early. We're only a year into this, but we've had several companies with big paper markups already as investors see that there's real opportunities in the Midwest.
Does the fact that the IPO market has turned more discriminating, discerning, let's say, does that worry you at all? What happens as that window maybe starts to close? We are pretty late, obviously, in this expansion.
Right, although it's taking about 10 to 11 years for companies to go from the early stage to exit. So if we're investing at the beginning, what I'm really worried about is what's the IPO market going to look like in 10 years? If you can tell me that, then and it's going to be bad, then I'll worry.
Yeah, no, and like you're saying, you always got to kind of jump in when there's a good opportunity and not try to second guess where the economy is going to be. One attractive thing that I hear anecdotally is people wanting a lower cost of living. Do you think you could attract more human capital to the Midwest from the coast, along with the venture capital?
Yeah, well, one of the things that we've noticed that goes on is you've got a lot of people who are trained technically in these top universities all throughout the Midwest, and then they go and get jobs in California, and they discover that that's not such a great opportunity because the cost of living is so high, and if they had the opportunities to move back to companies in the Midwest where they went to school, they jump at that.
Right. So as it stands now, you guys have, a couple dozen of investments?
Yeah, we're at about 14 investments right now in a year.
Wow. And counting, I can imagine. Scott, it's interesting stuff. Thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thanks for having me.